Hey, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong. Han Kang has won this year's Nobel Prize in Literature. She's a South Korean writer, actually the first writer from the country to ever win the award, but she's known internationally. Her book, The Vegetarian, was translated into English and published here in the States in 2016, and Anders Olsen from the Nobel Committee specifically shouted it out the morning she was announced as winner. Here's what he had to say about it.
Han Kang's physical empathy for the vulnerable, often female lives, is palpable and reinforced by her metaphorically charged prose.
It's about a woman who decides not to eat meat, but it turns into so much more. She was actually on NPR back when the English translation first came out and spoke with NPR's Linda Wertheimer. And in this interview, she talks a lot about her interest in violence, the cruelty that we as people can enact on each other, and how it's something everyone, unfortunately, can relate to. That's ahead.
This message comes from our sponsor, Grainger. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A young woman named Young-hae lives quietly and passively most of her life, a good girl, but she suddenly decides to give up meat. Her family is perplexed at her determination to be a vegetarian, and they try, with varying degrees of force, to stop her. Han Kang's new novel is called The Vegetarian, and you wouldn't think it from the title, but this story is intense, a dark and disturbing parable. The book was originally published in South Korea in 2007, but has only now reached this country. Speaking to us from Seoul, Han Kang described why her protagonist gives up meat.
Young-hae wants to become a vegetarian, and furthermore, she doesn't want to belong to human race any longer, and she is so determined not to harm anything in the world. And this declaration is quite extreme and bizarre to her family, and the characters surrounding her are kind of personifying the violence to the determination of this woman.
You decided to write your book with three narrators. There's Young-hae's husband and her sister's husband and that sister, her older sister. That's an interesting thing to do because, in my reading of the novel, it seems to me that members of her family really do not understand her.
Mm-hmm. This act of her determination looks quite bizarre or extreme because she doesn't want to eat meat, and furthermore, she doesn't want to eat anything. In this way, she believes she is saving herself, but ironically, she is approaching death in reality. Of course, in the world of reality, she has madness. That's why the family members are so concerned, and they are even violent at this act of her determination. So this novel might seem like a parable, and that was exactly I wanted to have this novel to be seen.
Reviewers have called this book frightening and dark, strange, terrifying. You do a very impressive job of making ordinary moments seem very intense, of creating scenes where reality just sort of slips away. Did you want your readers to be frightened by the book?
I always feel I am questioning when I write novels, and I wanted to deal with my long-lasting question. about human violence and the possibility or impossibility of refusing it. And I will be happy if the readers could share my questions.
There are a lot of ideas in your book. Some of the striking ones to me seem to involve gender politics, the power and control that men have over women, the way women cope with their lives, what happens when they reject the power and control that men have. When you were writing this, were you thinking of it as specific to South Korea, or do you think you were writing about a wider world?
Young-hae's father is a veteran from the Vietnamese War, and there is a very violent scene in the novel where he tries to force his daughter Young-hae to eat meat. And it is also overlapped in the third section when the doctors tries to feed her in the psychiatric hospital. In the danger of simplifying, I think these male characters are sharing or personifying the violence to the determination of Young-hae. And I think this could be quite a universal thing. They were universal questions about human violence while I was writing this novel.
Han Kang's novel is called The Vegetarian. We reached her at home in Seoul, in South Korea. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Absolutely, it was my pleasure.
Support for NPR and the following message come from IXL Learning. IXL Learning uses advanced algorithms to give the right help to each kid no matter the age or personality. Get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when you sign up today at IXL.com/NPR. Support for NPR and the following message come from Rosetta Stone, the perfect app to achieve your language learning goals no matter how busy your schedule gets. It's designed to maximize study time with immersive 10-minute lessons and audio practice for your commute. Plus, tailor your learning plan for specific objectives like travel. Get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off and unlimited access to 25 language courses. Learn more at rosettastone.com/NPR.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Vuori, a new perspective on performance apparel. Check out the latest Dream Knit collection by visiting vuori.com/NPR for 20% off your first purchase. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions.